Hey everyone, it's Kai from Cool Collectibles, back again for another review. This time it's the Hot Toys MMS369 Yoda. For all your 1/6 scale figures and more, click the link in the description below to head on over to Sideshow Collectibles. They ship worldwide, so definitely check them out. Right, just quickly touch on the packaging. It's the usual style from Hot Toys for this Star Wars line, which isn't too much to write home about, but the pictures on the right here of the figure are pretty good. And it gives you a nice close-up of the original prototype where all the hair and so on is molded in, whereas the final figure has that same mold, but they've added a bit of hair around the ears and the back of the head, which I'll show you guys in a second. So I'll just get the boxes out the way. Hold on. Alright, the figure set does come with a few accessories, and I guess they had to do that to justify the roughly 200 US asking price. Don't mind the headless Yoda there. I did take the head sculpts off just to make it easier to go through all of that. I'll do that in a second, but the main accessory would be the base here, which is pretty nice. The paint application is pretty good, but the moss and so on here is just green paint and not real moss, which would have been a nice touch, just like Asmus and a few others have done. And this branch here, just sort of, I think it's keyed some way. I'm not sure if it's this way or the other way, but you'll probably, I did try to do it before. I think you probably will need to have some hot water just to soften up the plastic to make sure you get that in all the way correctly. And it also comes with a few clear plastic stand things which you insert in these various holes, and these essentially have the corresponding hole on these little rocks, so you can get the impression that the rocks are floating up in the air. I probably won't have those displayed, but I will have the branch and Yoda pretty much just standing on the front there in the display cabinet. So it would have been nice if he had the full log that he sort of sat on during Empire Strikes Back, and I think previously Sideshow did have that in their version, but this Hot Toys version isn't too bad either from a stand perspective. The other accessories include this little lamp thing that I think Luke turns on to give himself a bit of light. I've already put the batteries on. You just unscrew that, flick this switch, and the light comes on like so. So overall, it's pretty good. Nothing is too delicate. All of these are sort of molded plastic, so nothing's too delicate that you risk any breakage. But I would probably take out the batteries just in case they start leaking. Also comes with his little, or Luke's box of stuff, I guess. I'm not sure if that's where he gets his lunch and his dinner from, but I see most people just putting it like that on display. The paint application's not too bad with the weathering, but nothing too much to write home about. He comes with his little, I'm not sure what this is. I actually couldn't even remember him wearing this in the movie, to be honest, even though I've watched it like a million times. You don't see it too often in the movie, apart from maybe the strap around the shoulders, but I think, I'm not sure what is, if that's a book or a pouch or something, but you can wrap that around his head. And of course he comes with his cane, which is pretty nicely molded and painted. I did sell my previous Sideshow Jedi Master version of Yoda, which had a younger head sculpt and an alternate regular one that wasn't that great. And the cane on that one was pretty much flat brown and not much detail, so this one is a definite improvement over that one. It also comes with this little lamp thing. I'm not sure what this is, to be honest, but there's no light up feature or anything like that, so I'm assuming it just sort of sits on top of the box or something like that. Also comes with a couple of swap out hands, so on both sides you get the sort of force gesturing type hand, which is maybe this one, and then this one here, I think on the other side it has the more closed hand where he can hold the staff or the cane. So I'll leave that one on this side, and I'll use the force gesturing one on this one with his eyes closed. So I'll give you guys a look at the head sculpts now. So here it is up close, and I gotta say it's a huge improvement over the previous Sideshow version. And as I was saying before, you can sort of see the original hair molded in on the sides and the back there, underneath there. So essentially all they've done, they haven't actually rooted the hair at all. but they've I guess just glued this fluff over the top of it. So I guess it's a decent enough compromise. It adds, I guess, that extra bit of realism to it with the mold underneath, but it is pretty delicate. It is pretty delicate, so just be careful you don't rub it and have it start falling off. You know, you can tell that he's got a bit of a bald patch on the back here, like he's been rolling around as he sleeps, like little kids do. But overall, it's not too bad. The ears and the actual face expression itself, I think, is pretty damn accurate for Yoda. And as always, the sort of glossy eyes really set Hot Toys sculpts apart from the competition. And of course, my favourite is definitely the closed eye sculpt, where he's channeling the Force. Overall, I think the sculpts are pretty much the same. The mouth, everything looks the same to me, apart from maybe, well, obviously the closed eyes, but everything else looks pretty much identical from a sculpt perspective. And the hair on this one, probably not as prominent on the sides as the other one, but the hair on the back maybe just a touch thicker as well. So overall, not too bad. And on display, I think it looks pretty damn fantastic. You just got to be careful when you put it in. Just get it around the sides of the body there onto this fixed peg. That peg doesn't move. It just fits on there. So I might just sort of soften that up a little bit and then put it back on. But it was definitely easier for me to show you the head sculpts without them being attached onto the body. But onto the figure. Alright, so here is the main body of the figure. It's unfortunate that I don't have the original Sideshow version, or the last Jedi Master version, just to be able to compare the body. But overall, I wouldn't say this body is that much better quality over the Sideshow one previously, to be honest. I do remember the Sideshow one having probably a bit more prominent of a hunchback there. The Hot Toys body here does feel a bit flatter. The Sideshow one was easier to disassemble, but this Hot Toys version with this belt here, it's you can't take it off because it's not. There's no button or anything anywhere that I can see, unless it's behind here, which I don't want to accidentally rip that off somehow. And then it's just tied at the back here, which I don't want to have to replicate. So I think there is also a warning in the instruction book not to try and take it all off. So unfortunately, it's a bit hard for me to show the whole body. But if you sort of lift these apart, you can sort of see that he's got double joints there. He's got the sort of molding and the paint app on the forearms, but not the upper arms, which are just a smooth green plastic. And similarly for the legs, where up to the knees, he's got the sort of mold and paint, and then it's just the base green body underneath that. So he does have double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. There's no real ankle articulation at all, apart from a swivel, a little bit of a tilt, but I'd be pretty careful in how you move that, just in case you snap something off. The feet themselves look okay. I would have thought they'd add a bit more detail or paint up to the nails, but there's no sort of differentiation between the nails and the hands, to be honest. I can't remember if that's like that in the movie, but I would have thought his nails would at least be a different color, but no difference there. The cloak itself is a pretty nice sort of what's that material? Canvas type material, and it's got the sort of weathering on it. So they've gone to town with it, really. So there's a huge tatter on this side, rips on here. So they're all sort of strategically placed, but I'd be careful in how you sort of move it, just in case you make it go further than it really needs to. From an articulation perspective, the arms move fairly well, double jointed elbows and a swivel at the bicep, as I was saying. The hips here, as you can see, a bit of a look there, so they can swivel out and so on. He's on a little hinge joint there, and the thigh swivel. So overall, not too bad, but I wouldn't say the joints feel overly tight. It does feel, it's got a very sort of a cheapish Sideshow feel to it, to be quite honest. The undersuit here is like a softer fabric type material, which does feel quite nice. It's not too bad. But I do remember the Sideshow one having a nice sort of a brown tunic as well. So overall, not too bad. This is like the fake leather type material. Just be very careful of this pouch. I'm not sure how that's attached on. If that's just glued on, that's just waiting to sort of pop off, I think. But no real sort of weathering or anything on that, but overall not too bad. I think the only weathering they've applied is really to the cloak, which does look pretty dirty down the bottom here. I have seen varying degrees of the weathering, and I'm not sure if it sort of gradually gets worse over time, to be honest. I did see some photos from some friends who thinks theirs have gotten darker over time, so hopefully it doesn't get too moldy or anything like that in the display cabinet. But overall, that is pretty much it. I might just finish up by putting his head sculpt on there and getting DX07 Luke out of the cabinet just to do a quick comparison and finish up the review. Right, so here is Yoda next to DX07 Luke, and I have to say the scale looks pretty good. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but I did try and grab some screenshots from the movie. So as you can see there, the two standing next to each other, he's slightly just above the knee, I'd say, and on the figure here, he may be just a little bit taller, but for 1/6 scale, I think that looks pretty damn good in comparison with each other and displayed together. So I can't complain too much about that scale at all. And the overall detail of the figures, you know, even though DX07 was released several years ago, I'd have to say they do the sort of amount of detail in the clothing and the paint application and so on, they really do complement each other very well. So if you do have DX07 Bespin Luke, I think this Yoda complements it perfectly and would go really well on display, along with the diorama base as well. So and, you know, you could even weather up the DX07 Luke or take off the vest and really try and recreate that scene either in the hut or running around Dagobah. So definitely a good option for the collectors out there who like to get their dioramas and so on in place. So hopefully you like that quick look at this recent Hot Toys Yoda. It's been out for a while and I've taken my sweet time in getting my thoughts out there, but I'm definitely glad that Hot Toys is getting back into a lot of the original trilogy characters with Jedi Luke, the Royal Guard, the Emperor, so many teasers out of San Diego Comic-Con just last week. So I'm really happy that they're getting back into it, and hopefully they continue that through 2017 and 2018. So hopefully you can click that like and subscribe button and stay tuned for more reviews. I do have a few things coming up over the next few weeks, so hopefully you can stick around for all that. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers. Bye.